Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Wisdom in the Best Books and Films, where you can get bite-sized bits of wisdom from the best books and films. I'm Jake Bear, your host, and I'm excited this week to talk again a little bit about a book by George MacDonald. This time I'm going to quote Sir Gibby. It is a long novel, but it is very good and well worth the read. There is some old Scotch in the book that is, a lot of the people, when they talk, they speak in old Scotch. So you can find some translations of the book that are basically translating from Scottish to English. I read the original, and it is kind of fun, I think, to see the way that they talk and slowly pick up what they're saying over time, but it is also kind of difficult, so feel free to get the translation if you go read it. This is a thing that I learned fairly recently. I realized, maybe is a better word. It's not necessarily a completely new thing. It's just something that didn't really click in my head until more recently. So I'm excited to share it with you. If you enjoy the episode, please share it with friends, leave a review, and subscribe. Feel free to contact me with any comments or questions at wisdominbestbooks@substack.com. So here is Chasing Shadows. I have often noticed that many of my traits I would generally consider strengths have with them an associated weakness, and if I am not careful, those strengths can display themselves in ways that are not good for myself or others. For example, I am fairly open with my thoughts on most any subject. Being straightforward with people is a good thing, but it needs to be done tactfully at times, which is where I can occasionally have a weakness. There is a similar weakness with all of my strengths that can be frustrating at times. However, if there is a weakness related to my strengths, might there not also be a strength associated with my weakness? George MacDonald made me think of this in his book Sir Gibby, as he talks about one of the side characters, Fergus, who desires to be admired by everyone and lets that desire guide all of his actions. In discussing this weakness in Fergus, MacDonald says the following: "If anyone judge it hard, that men should be made with ambitions to whose objects they can never attain, I answer, ambition is but the evil shadow of aspiration. And no man ever followed the truth, which is the one path of aspiration, and in the end complained that he had been made this way or that. Man is made to be that which he is made most capable of desiring. But it goes without saying that he must desire the thing itself and not its shadow. Man is of the truth, and while he follows a lie, no indication his nature yields will hold, except the fear, the discontent, the sickness of soul, that tell him he is wrong. If he say, I care not for what you call the substance, it is to me the shadow. I want what you call the shadow. The only answer is that, to all eternity, he can never have it. A shadow can never be had." End quote. To me, this seems to say that when we are tempted, or when we seek after things that are wrong, we are chasing shadows. We are seeking joy from sources which will never bring anything but brief pleasure at best. C.S. Lewis noted that God has given us all desires which have some divine form to each of them, for we are divine creatures. If that is true, maybe one of the best ways to overcome our various weaknesses is to identify the truth or the substance and to stop seeking the lie. Rather, if we lean into the positive good that is associated with the shadow, we will no longer desire the shadow because we will have become a new creature. I'm not saying you can just do the good thing once and be done. Indeed, I expect the temptation for the shadow may return if that divine portion of the desire ceases to be satisfied. Therefore, in order to remove those shadows from our lives, we must push towards the true and good, proactively satisfying our desires with things of substance. In so doing, we will truly turn our weakness into strength, not just by removing the desire for evil, but by turning it to its true purpose.